I'm Angie Anderson, and I'd like to welcome you to another day of discovery. Today we're at the Hope Street Garden and Learning Lab, tucked away in the Salem Square neighborhood of the city of York. We're going to learn a lot about a wonderful community project that's being taken care of and tended lovingly by students in the city of York. Come on along and learn something. So Annie, here we are in the Garden of Hope.
We are Hope Street Garden and Learning Lab.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Hope Street Garden and Learning Lab was started in the month of January by our community partners, including Salem Square, Lincoln Charter School, Helen Thaxton, Logos, New Hope, and York City Schools, along with Grace Fellowship.
And I think I heard somewhere along the way some of the colleges are involved.
We have both Penn State Extension working with us and York College. Many of their community organizations are working to improve the garden and build the Learning Lab.
This is amazing. I was out here last night doing a little preview, and it was quiet, it was getting dark, and I was looking around and seeing how things have progressed since the beginning of the summer. And I said, oh my gosh. And then today I came and there are all these students that are here. Tell us a little bit about that.
These are our students from Helen Thaxton Charter School. They do a service learning day every other Thursday, and that's their day here at the garden. Monday and Tuesday we have Lincoln Charter School. On Wednesday we have Logos. On Thursday we have New Hope, and on Friday we have Youth Build.
So there is literally an army of students that come here to work in the garden and to learn. The objective is to get our children out into the environment, out into the community, and have them take ownership of learning. So much of our students' time is spent inside the classroom, and we're struggling in reading and math as a city. And we feel like if they get the children outside into the environment, that it makes things more concrete for them and they can learn in a different environment. So like real world activity.
Absolutely.
I understand that part of this whole experience from the beginning until harvest is about entrepreneurship.
It absolutely is. We had a group of students from each school were represented along the whole entire process. From the first community meetings that we held, going in front of the Redevelopment Authority to take possession of the land. And even at this point, they designed many of the beds and the classroom. In addition, we're going to be having stands at Penn Street Market, Central Market, and working to have our own sale at Lincoln Charter School at the end of summer.
That's amazing. Let's talk about where we are physically within the city, because it's sort of back in a neighborhood that people might not be familiar with.
It is truly a hidden treasure. We're sitting between the main streets of Princess and College Avenue, and also Penn Street and Green Street.
So the physical address is 402 to 430 West Hope Street.
That is correct.
And the property is actually owned by the Redevelopment Authority, and the Redevelopment Authority it's now owned by the Garden organization, but it's from the Redevelopment Authority, and the idea in sharing it with all these students was to give them an opportunity to learn in an environment that's natural and that will teach them the skills that they need. Like you said, sometimes the math and some of the other subjects in school are a little difficult. For me, it was too. But if somebody says to me, here's how you do it, it's this hands-on learning experience that they can all have. And literally today, they all have hands-on, all hands on deck. Everybody's working as a team. I heard you say that, kids were coming to you in droves, and I heard you say, like, get your team together. And so how does that grid out?
What we have done is we've worked with different farmers along with the master gardeners, and we've created some simple checklists that the students in schools can perform when they show up at the garden. So some of that would be the weeding, getting the beds ready, shoveling, raking, just caring for the garden as a whole. But what we see it developing into is that our teachers and students would be here all day long, and they would develop all of their reading lessons, math lessons around the garden and around the Learning Lab itself. Even this summer, all of our math lessons in our summer program, Roar for Learning, are based off entrepreneurship.
So this area that's right behind us, that's not going to be part of the garden patch. That's going to be something really special.
There is something special going in. Actually, we are building a classroom out here. It's 40-foot pavilion. It's been completely donated by Stewart and Tate, Grace Fellowship, and Dreher Roofing.
Isn't that amazing? So we'll have an outdoor learning lab that is in the garden in a neighborhood in Salem Square where the kids can walk safely. They can spend some hours here in classroom learning, and they can take home fruits and veggies that are healthy for them when they're finished, right?
Absolutely. The food is going to be shared among all the students. Both Lincoln Charter School and New Hope are in session over the summer, so our students will be using that food. In addition to that, we have identified 3 local agencies that provide food to our families, and they'll be getting the excess food. And then down the road, we would like to work with WellSpan on putting the food actually in the corner stores and having fresh fruits and vegetables for all the community.
So this is part of under the umbrella of the Eat, Play, Breathe program that all of York is getting involved with. Is keeping us healthy, making us move more, offering us better, more nutritious foods, having a tobacco-free lifestyle, and this garden is going to accomplish all of those objectives of the Eat, Play, Breathe policy.
Well, it's actually not under the umbrella of Eat, Play, Breathe, but it's actually working collaboratively with Eat, Play, Breathe. Hope Street Garden and Learning Lab is its own entity. It has its own board of directors, it has its own bylaws and a mission. And so there's a lot of activities happening in New York all around eating better, breathing better, and having exercise. Some of the events that are going on are events like Let's Move, which is part of the mayor's campaign. In addition to that, Play Streets and Bring On Play, which actually is putting together and rebuilding all the playgrounds. And then Eat, Play, Breathe is an awesome task force that has members from all over the community who are keeping in touch and sort of opening up the lines of communication for everybody who's working on healthy living in York.
And so this whole group of people that's working on healthy living has, they've all touched this project. So many people have touched this project, and there's room and opportunity for more people to do so. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sunday open of the gardening?
Every Sunday we open up the garden to the community as a whole from 9 to 11 a.m. Many people in this community want to change this piece of land, have thanked us for putting this learning lab here. So from 9 to 11, the community can come in, they can help us work on laying out the beds, planting, building the greenhouses, which will come down the road. In addition to that, we have volunteers that have come for the last 2 months. Over 200 volunteers have worked to clear this area, including our city council members, our state representative, our mayor. So everybody has taken a part in this. Over this course of the summer, we will have Salt Life Ministries here, Grace Fellowship, Living Word Community Church. In addition to that, Youth Build is sending in a team.
Okay, so what do you need to make this a dream come true? That if you build it, they will come philosophy.
We need everything associated to a garden and to a classroom. So we need a lot of mulch, natural stone. We need someone to come in and put in the water feature. We need additional trees. We need artists to come in and make murals inside the garden. We would like some people to come in and do some stone work and some metal work in addition to that.
Okay, so we talked earlier too. There are some other things sort of a little difficult to mention, but we could use some manure here, couldn't we?
We absolutely could use some manure here.
Somebody has a truckload of manure. If somebody has a truckload of manure, they can call you up and they could jump it off, and that would be very helpful. This soil needs to be needs to have some nutrients, and that would do the trick. Mulch, manure. Anything else for the classroom?
We need clipboards, pens, pencils. We actually need another storage shed to be able to keep all the classroom materials in it. In addition, we would like to see more rose bushes, flower bushes. We need additional raised beds built. There's a product called a jack bag that we saw when we were in Florida at the REACH conference. And this is a way to do urban gardening and actually pick these bags up and allow students to take them home or bring them in, and you get more growing from that.
And the other thing that I think there's a huge need for is that black plastic carpeting kind of thing. I don't know what, it's rolls of plastic that will keep the weeds down, correct?
Yes, what we'd actually like to see here is we want to make this wheelchair accessible. So if we were able to get the landscaping plastic that would keep the weeds down, that would set us up to be able to start putting the roads in. We'd also like to see the trail mix compost or compound used that's used along the rail trails brought in to make this a really smooth surface for where people are walking and moving. Over the weekends, we have many people from all ages, from small toddlers the whole way to 90 years old as our oldest volunteer. And so we'd like to have a safe, smooth walkways.
Wow, you have a very ambitious project going on here. I think that we're beyond the seed planting stage. We're beyond the dream phase. We are definitely at the reality happening here. Soon, maybe you and I can come back toward the end of the summer, and maybe we'll sit at a nice table under the pavilion, and we'll have a salad together and talk about what will happen even next year and how to make the Hope Street Garden and Learning Lab so much better, so much more important, and so much part of a community movement that is happening in other cities. And we know if it can be done in other cities, it can be done in York. Is there anything else, one thing or a few things that you just want to tell our WRCT audience about this particular project, or a need that you have that you want to share?
I would just like to thank the York community for coming out and supporting our children and supporting the Hope Street Garden and Learning Lab. This is unique, and everybody who has seen it believes that it is miraculous what we've done here to bring city government along with spiritual organizations, and all of our schools in York have come together to build this. I would like to say keep coming to volunteer, spend time out here, and really identify this as almost a new school in the area, a school that's owned by all the other schools and by the students. I said it's a garden created by children for the children, and I really believe that to be true.
Great. Well, it's been my pleasure, as always, to spend a little time with you in the garden. Next time I come, I'll have on my overalls and my gardening gloves and my work boots. But I am amazed at what I see, and I'm really proud of all the work that's being done. Thank you for leading the charge and being the cheerleader that you are.
Thank you.
I really hope that the Hope Street Garden and Learning Lab will become a legend in our community.
Thanks. Thank you, Angie.